Welcome to Pulp, the search for a lost science fiction classic.
My life is over.
Does that mean you've lost your appetite?
Yes. Oh, goodbye.
Hey everybody, Jake here. Let's do this. Cristabel is a pen name for American author Christine Elizabeth Abrahamson. She was born September 6, 1916 in West Virginia, and she died in 1995 at the age of 78. Abrahamson, I'm going to call her Cristabel just because it's easier, earned her BA in nursing at Hunter's College and her master's at Columbia University. From 1939 to 1971, Cristabel was a nurse, and then she accepted a position as a professor of nursing at West Virginia Institute of Technology. Her life was nursing, but then something happened between the years of 1970 and 1972. She wrote. Cristabel published one Gothic romance under the pseudonym Kathleen Westcott and 4 science fiction novels as Cristabel. She has said that she came up with the name Cristabel with the aid of a fortune-telling book and that it means good luck and success. Which brings us to the Cruachan and the Killane, a lovely young woman with fantastic healing powers against a universe poisoned by evil. Nora Castanet is a breathtaking blonde endowed with a miraculous psychical gift of healing the sick. She also has an uncanny gift for getting into all kinds of serious trouble. First, aboard a doomed aircraft, a dying courier entrusts her with secret information to deliver a mysterious man named Vanor. Next, rescued after the explosion of the plane by a ship, the Cruachan, she falls in love with its enigmatic captain, Killane. Then, as she finally nears the mystic island of Veltikin, she comes face to face with the ultimate universal terror. The Cruachan and the Killane, boy, I just love saying that title, is an original story published by Curtis Books in 1970. It is 287 pages and originally cost 75 cents. There's no cover artist listed, but big shocker there. Curtis Books are some of the ugliest books, and this is no exception. If you get closer than 10 feet away from this book, then you can see that it's just a crappy picture of a toy spaceman. I mean, look at his hands. It's not even holding the gun or vacuum cleaner or whatever this is supposed to be. Ugh, this is horrible.
This is very shoddy work. I'm actually embarrassed for you.
You can find this online for $3 to almost $100 because nobody has any idea what to charge for it because other than myself, nobody has ever bought it. Alright, time to level with you guys. You're smart and you can probably see where this is going. I've never been particularly good at hiding my thoughts and feelings. So yeah, this is bad. This is really bad. But don't just shut off the video and take this off your TBR. It's really not on anybody's TBR. Because you have no idea how bad it is. And you can't just say, this sucks, don't read it. No, I need to show you. I need to show you the depths of the stupidity. I need to show you how deep and how dark this nonsensicalness is. That's not even a word. So the story opens with our hero, Nora Castanet, hopping on a plane. She's going to visit her sister, take a well-deserved, well-earned vacation. Atta girl. As for the setting, the front cover says 1,000 years in the future. Well, they also put a dollar store space toy on there, so ignore that. There's no spaceships. This is just a normal airplane in 1970. We're not on Earth. I don't think we're on Earth. The locations are different, but it's not like there's different creatures. Everybody looks the same. Everything's called the same. For all intents and purposes, it is Earth. Nora is a magical nurse, even though we don't see her do any magical nursing, and it actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it would have come in handy on several occasions. Anyway, like the back cover says, some guy dies, the plane explodes, crashes into the sea. She survives all this because her adopted father before she left, had given her magical clothing that he just made. And so she's lying on this wreckage. Also, before the plane, or after it exploded and while it was crashing, or after it fell, I forget, she sees a baby rolling around, so she scoops up and saves this baby. So it's Nora on this wreckage with a tiny 3-week-old baby, and she cries,
Jamie, save me, Jamie.
Who is Jamie, you ask? Well, obviously it's her true love, who she has never met or even heard of. Jamie is James Dane Killane.
What kind of stupid name is that?
He's the commander of the Cruachan, and we hear that he is a wild man, even though he never does anything wild. He's also a fierce man, even though he doesn't do anything fierce. In fact, he's docile AF. And he's part of the patrol, which the patrol is never explained. We think it's some sort of coastal military ocean police. I don't know. It doesn't matter because he can do whatever he wants anyways. Many people say he's a legend, even though we're never told why. The crew is constantly saying the Killane is excellent. The Killane, they refer to him as the Killane. Even he refers to himself as the Killane from time to time. But the only really incredible thing he does is occasionally we think he talks to sea creatures or influences them or can hear from them or something. The Killane. But anyways, the Killane says,
"Hang on, Nora, my love,"
even though he's never met her or heard of her as well. And so he sets off to rescue her. And I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop the summary there because all of the bad points match the story beat. So you'll get the story through the bad section, and maybe we'll try and streamline this thing, okay? But first, anything that I liked? No, not really. I mean, in the beginning, the dedication, she thanked her children. She did it kind of a funny way. She said, "To my children, all of them," as if she was saying, like, even you know who you are. I mean, everything was spelled correctly. Wait a second. She only had one kid. Hold on. She only had one kid. Hold on a second. Oh my gosh. In all my research, it just says that she had one kid. She was married at once and had one kid. Now she's thanking all her kids. Maybe this is her way of letting her daughter know, hey, just so you know, mommy got knocked up in the 40s and you got a sibling out there somewhere. This is how I decided to tell you. I don't know. Maybe, and this wasn't just Wikipedia information, mind you. I did a deep dive. I don't know. I could be wrong. This could be wrong. She could be talking about other people, maybe students. I don't have a clue. It's kind of weird. And now, the bad. Adverb overload, and she would stack adjectives like firewood. A hot, humid, steaming summer day in the heart of a crowded, dirty, festering cosmopolitan city. A dull, commonplace day in one of the great... Listen, she stacks them constantly. She would rarely use one adjective. In the pilot house, Theo shrugged his shoulders eloquently. Bull's gray eyes became dark in his thin, narrow, predatory face. Thin and narrow are the same word. Lorne was manifestly amused. Manifestly amused. Cristabel, will you explain manifestly amused? Obviously, write however you want, but in my mind, adverbs are capers. They're useful for the occasional pop of flavor, and you don't want to eat a spoonful of them. This is amateur writing. Too many characters. You know, I thought 12 Stupid Kingdoms was the king with 80 named characters in that tiny book, but folks, we got a new champion. I didn't count them all. I couldn't be bothered to. Just know that there are dozens and dozens and dozens of named characters, and not a single one is described. Also, for the crew of the Cruachan, they're ranked by Mac, and so the second in command is Mac 1, and Mac 2, Mac 3, all the way down. So half the time they would be referred to as their name, and the rest of the time they would be referred to as their, either Mac 1 or Mac 5 or Mac 6 or just plain Mac. Also, there is a character named Mac.
Are you okay?
You'll read scenes upon scenes of characters that are jump in, they're not introduced, and you'll never see them again. Also, around the 1/3 point, the entire cast of the first book migrates over. Yes, this is a sequel, which I had no idea at the time. effectively doubling an already preposterously bloated cast. The Killane. There is not a scene in this book where someone doesn't comment on how awesome the Killane is, despite him doing nothing. Nothing! You will hate the Killane. I remember watching, this reminded me of, you guys ever see that show Scandal? I watched the pilot with my wife once, and the whole episode, I could barely get through it. Everybody's going, oh, Olivia Pope is the best. Olivia Pope is amazing. Watch out for Olivia Pope. Nobody can stand up against Olivia Pope. Olivia Pope, Olivia Pope, Olivia Pope. The whole episode was just people gushing about how incredible she was to an uncomfortable degree. Like, yeah, she was a good spin doctor, right? But it's not like she split the atom or walked on water. The hundreds of characters in this book straight up worship the Killane for reasons that we are never told or shown. The Cruachan, it's a magnificent ship. As magnificent as her captain. And just like her captain, there's nothing special about it. I mean, at one point it goes fast. It does go a little bit fast, but no part of it is ever described. Is this a sailboat? Steam? A normal combustion engine? We don't know anything about it. We know it has a deck. We know that's what we know about it. It's just a boat. And it's honestly, this point is not just the boat. It's everything in this book is overly dramatized. I should probably describe a little more of the story. Nora is adrift on this wreckage in the middle of the ocean with this baby whom she named Colina. Now, the Killane knows exactly where she is, but can he get to her in time? How does he know where she is? Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry, magic. But can he get to her in time? No! He almost did, but then he stopped. He stopped when he could still see her, and there she is. She's over there, but how do we get close? I don't know, sail a little bit closer. Anyways, luckily a bunch of dolphins got together and created a dolphin road that they could walk across.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
One does not forget a man like Jamie. He's a wild one, I think. Does one ever tame a man like him? Tame. Jamie. Would I want him tamed? Oh! She shook her head to rid herself of her fancies. Here I am in the middle of an ocean trying to stay alive, and all I can think about is a wild seaman. Oh, Jamie. Jamie!
I'll have what she's having.
Nora. Nora, he whispered brokenly. I searched the universe to find you, and there are times when I think that I am still dreaming. Dear heart, will I wake up on the ocean and find you gone, and only a dream left? You think you know cringe? You do not know cringe until you read the Cruachan and the Killane. 50 Shades of Grey was a self-insert thirsty Twilight fan fiction. The Cruachan and the Killane is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea thirsty self-insert fan fiction. Oh, and this is actually way worse than 50 Shades. The Killane is a clear facsimile of Captain Nemo without any of the mystique, interest, charisma, or personality. The Cruachan is clearly the Nautilus, and Nora is this humble, strikingly beautiful nurse. Hey, wait a second, wasn't the author a nurse?
Don't think too much.
You almost feel guilty for reading this, not because anything overtly sexual happens. In fact, nothing sexual happens, but just because this feels like a love-struck preteen girl's dream diary. After she's rescued, they profess their undying love for one another. Nora plays hard to get, just for like 2 pages, because I think Cristabel read that somewhere and tried to shoehorn it in. Okay, so instead of taking Nora and the rescued baby back to their homes, Killane decides to take them to the mystical island of Veltican. Why? Well, don't ask intelligent questions. How else is the plot supposed to happen? But on the way to Veltican, the Killane senses an evil submarine is chasing them. Why? Again with all those questions. Really? Really? Listen, this submarine knows that Nora and the Killane are the main characters, and so who are the bad guys? What do they want? Who do they work for? Where do they come from? How did they know where the Cruachan would be? How do they know who Nora is? Listen, we're never going to finish this if you keep asking questions. Phew, they safely arrive in Veltican. I mean, it does kind of undercut the whole we're being chased tension when you stop and clean the whole ship in the out in open ocean. But whatever, who cares? We arrive all the same, and that's when on the island we are met with the entire cast of the first novel, Manalacor of Veltican. Boy, the names just are incredible.
Welcome, friends. We knew you were coming because we did. Come see our island. It's very beautiful. In fact, it is so spectacular that when people visit our island, without fail, they are unable to speak for an entire hour. Don't ask me to explain or describe anything on this island. Also, while you're here, we have provided for you a house. Just for you two. This house is fully furnished, and I will describe your fancy, fully furnished home in exquisite detail because
Cristabel is now playing house, and we are all trapped in her mind. I've never run out of counters before. They only go up to 9, and I've only reached 9 once. So, oh well, let's improvise. Nora and the Killane can share thoughts. They can speak to each other through dreams. It's happened multiple times. It's never explained, but also, like, it seems like half the cast can do that as well, even just random women on the streets. Oh my gosh, I just realized that I think every woman in this book can do it. Oh, except for one. There's one that can't. Whatever. Anyways, at one point, this ghostly hooded figure came into their bedroom at night and gave them magic rings. This character's not explained. I'm assuming it's whatever Manalacor is. So it's explained to them that now, with the rings of Manalacor, you can telepathically reach out and share each other's thoughts and send messages, which they could already do, and after this point, they don't do it again! The evil bad guys enslave a group of primitive islanders for some reason. Now, the crew of the Cruachan set them free and rescue the villagers by burning their entire village to the ground.
You serious?
Hey, remember the guy in the beginning who is poisoned on the airplane? He gives Nora some secret spy stuff and then, dies. Anyway, Nora is talking with some commanders of the patrol, I think. These might be other characters. It's not entirely clear at all. Anyway, they assume that a woman must have done it because, clearly female treachery. And Nora says, you guys are incompetent in doing this, so whenever you catch this female spy, bring her to me so I can torture her. Nora the nurse. Didn't she swear some kind of oath or something? This is 287 pages, and I'm not exaggerating, would still feel fat and slow at 150 pages. This is mostly dialogue, and not like crucial dialogue, small talk. I'm not joking. I wish I was joking. Almost everything that is said in this book is inconsequential. Plus, most of the events are covered twice. The things that do happen are covered twice because they're talked about it and then enacted by one party. Then we will jump back one scene in time and show the viewpoint of the events from another perspective while they talk about bloody nuts. Cristabel knows a lot of words. Unfortunately, one word she did not know was nuance. You see, every single character erupts with laughter. Constantly people are bursting out laughing. The funny thing is, people are laughing throughout this entire book, but nothing funny ever happens. Cristabel's humor is the dullest, simplest sort, and people are constantly bursting out laughing over nothing. Now, I like to think I have a good grasp on humor. I like to think I have a good sense of humor. Now, not all of you agree with that, with my assessment, and you guys let me know in the comments. That's fine. Beat it. But I like to think that I have a grasp on some things that are funny and kind of a broad range. Like I enjoy intelligent, highbrow comedy, and yet I also really love stupid slapstick. And we'll still laugh at a well-placed fart sound effect. But I think a lot of us know that one person that, let's say you're watching a comedy movie and everybody in the room is just dying laughing, but there's that one person who's doing this and not laughing at all. When everyone else is just losing it, they look contemplative. But then randomly they'll chuckle at something and everybody else is like, what's going on? That's Cristabel. Finally, after hundreds of pages with literally nothing happening, we get the sea battle with the evil submarine. Yes. Now, I could make an entire video about how convoluted and nonsensical that battle was, and maybe I will. But for the sake of this video, I will skip right to the climax. Objects on the north, the lookout called loudly. They turned in the direction indicated, and Cam was the first to spot the disturbance. "Jamie," he cried as he pointed to the northeast. "What's going on out there?" They could all see the sea animals jumping in and out of the water in a fury of activity, while in their midst a lone black shape was being tossed about with wild abandon. Just in case you missed it, dolphins are tossing around and juggling a submarine.
I don't want to hang out with some stupid baby.
I totally forgot about the stupid baby. Yes, the baby Nora rescued. Now, there was no record of this baby on the flight manifest. No one has stepped forward to claim it. It's a magic baby. Wow, imagine having a lovely baby that never cries without having to get all stretched out. Will the fantasies never end? Now, this baby is super small and also blind, but don't worry, she regains her sight later on because, okay. Also, the baby randomly starts talking in full sentences, and at no point was somebody like, "Hey, weren't you 3 weeks old literally yesterday?" Anyway, what did we say about asking questions? Sonora named the baby Corina or Corin or Colin. I don't know. I don't remember, and I'm trying to forget. But it doesn't matter because they randomly start calling the baby the Elfin. Uh-oh. That's what this book should have been called. The Cruachan, the Killane, the Elfin, and the lobotomy. Everybody doing okay out there? All right, we're almost done. Hold on. Hang on. Clothing. I mentioned earlier that Nora is given clothes at the start of this, and she starts crying when she sees how wonderful the clothes are. She sees clothes and starts crying. Throughout this book, we are treated to multiple sections of what I like to call fabric porn. Cristabel describes nothing except clothes. For being a romance/fantasy masquerading as science fiction, the only lust in here is what Cristabel feels for some crushed velvet. Yes! Cristabel cannot write men. That's a big problem when your cast is 90% male. Every man in this book acts gay.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
I don't mean that they're homosexual either. Let me clarify. I'm not homophobic. I don't hate gay people. I can read about people with same-sex attraction. I don't have a problem with that. I also don't use gay as a derogative term. Don't be gay, man. I don't do stuff like that. Okay, we all clear? Good.
I'm triggered.
Every man in this book is constantly touching each other, holding each other, squeezing hands, staring deeply into each other's eyes, searching each other's feelings, stroking, and touching each other some more. This is the gayest book I've ever read. And I would bet you anything, if you're a gay man out there, you read this, you'll agree with me. You'll be like, yeah, this is freaking gay.
Ha! Gay!
So the Killane can also talk to a bird now. I think it was the bird that gave him the idea to burn down the innocent villagers' village. But who knows? Anyway, after they leave those smoldering ruins, the bird came with them, but it perched itself on top of the Cruachan, and it points like a weather vane in the direction that the plot wanted them to go. I'm not joking about this.
It sucks. It sucks.
Speaking of the primitive islanders, Kindaharmic, who had unknowingly picked up the language of the islanders, was composing a conversation with its chief. Now, it's pretty convenient to unknowingly pick up another language. Also, the islanders spoke English. At one point, the president visits the island of Veltikin. How do they know that it was the president's ship? Because it was flying the president's flag.
Tariff.
So what's the verdict? Can you guess? Return to Pulp and throw in Cristabel too! I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I've been through a lot. I can usually read a book in a day, but this took me over a week. This was a painfully overdramatic, bloated, nonsensical slog that has already usurped 12 lame kingdoms as the worst book I've read this year. Do yourself a favor. Throw this away and go read 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And that is my review of the Cruachan and the Killane. Tell me, have you ever read a book from a nurse? If so, I promise it was better than this one. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time with The Secret People.